The governor's testimony also references clear targets for the adoption of low emission vehicles. So whether we're talking about mandates or regulations, he specifically mentions targets toward that goal several times. I'm wondering, in your opinion, what should drive this inevitable shift to electrification in the first place? He also states that the transition will be driven by technology, smart planning by government agencies, and private sector investment. I've heard largely from my constituency that this is something that's going to happen naturally by way of the market and without the need for the heavy hand in government. So again, in your opinion, what do you think should drive the shift to electrification?
Yeah, I mean, I think part of that is the market. And I think, California did a disservice by excluding the hybrids in this equation as we transition to zero emission. And I think this council, if the governor's testimony, I haven't read through it yet, is referencing, low emission that would contemplate the ability to try to incorporate hybrids, which was a sticking point for a lot of people. But it's, how we reconcile that when California, which we're under, has gone in a completely different direction. To me, that's what needs to be answered first. So I do think a lot of this is going to be market driven.
And if I may, just to echo on what Representative Candelora stated, that moving to the federal EPA standard, I think more recognizes what the market is doing, the shift in the market in the country as a whole. We've had a lot of issues come up over the past few months, if not the year, related to EV related issues. And one of the things that was alarming to me that I heard that in order to get a battery the size that you'd have to get to implement into a tractor trailer to have the same capacity a diesel tractor trailer would have, there's like no suspension bridge in the country that could take on that type of weight.
So there's also a concern that we're planning for one specific technology or energy. Do you see this council as addressing maybe some other solutions? And also to your point about the impact on heavier weight vehicles, do you think that this council should look at that?
I do. But I mean, when it comes down to, you just made a really good point, Representative, about the transportation infrastructure and some of the issues we're going to be facing with these much heavier vehicles on the roadways. And one of the things that this council isn't explicitly addressed to or tasked to address is the loss in gas tax revenue that we're going to see if we ultimately implemented an EV mandate. And so you're going to have these heavier vehicles potentially on the roads. It's going to cause more damage to the roads. And then on top of that, you're going to deplete this gas tax revenue, which we currently have which is supposed to supplement the transportation infrastructure in our state. So absolutely, yeah, that has to be discussed.
I just want to thank Representative Callahan for bringing up the concern around the electric buses with the breakdown and the catching of fire. It just so happens that this committee is considering a resurrection of a grant program that's going to help schools put seatbelts on buses, and I have some concerns around that as well. And it was a program that wasn't very broadly utilized, but that's a whole different conversation. And if that proposal goes anywhere, I hope it comes to us on the Education Committee. But today we've at least determined that electrification is imminent. And it was also mentioned about the consequential loss in revenue from gas taxes. And would you also be concerned that this could be a path to, Representative Callahan and I both represent a border city, that this could be a path to tolling or a mileage tax to make up for that loss?
Thanks for the question, Representative. It's a tough call. We're gonna have to make up the revenue somewhere. And with the weight of electrified trucks and vehicles, the wear and tear on the road is going to be increased exponentially. So we're gonna have to come up with the money somewhere. And being in a border town, I do fear the return of tolls to make up that. But I wish I had a crystal ball, but I don't.
Agreed. Thank you, Mr. Chair.